Hey guys, it's Yuta. So, there's a very popular YouTube video called What We Are Speaking Japanese, which portrays an experience of Japanese speaking people who are not Asian. In the video, when they try to order food in Japanese, the waitress doesn't realize that they are speaking Japanese and tries to talk to the only Asian person in the group who doesn't speak
今
Japanese.
日のおすすめは何ですか？
すいません、ちょっと英語わかんないんで。
でも今の日本語だったよね。
そうだよね。
彼らのご注文の方は。
いえ、だから彼女はアメリカ人なんやって。
そうそう。
日本語全くわからへんねん。
うん、そうだよ。
お連れの方たちハンバーグですかね、やっぱり。
つまりですね、いいですか？彼女は日本人に見えるかもしれませんが、育ちはアメリカです。日本語は全く喋れません。お願いします。僕らの日本語を聞いてください。
お願いします。
お飲み物のお決まりですか？
And I made a reaction video with random Japanese people in the street, but I feel like I didn't quite capture diverse reactions from other types of Japanese people, so today I'm going to share some YouTube comments. The video is first and foremost a comedy, so naturally many people found it funny. This is too funny. Funny. The Chiba part made me laugh. I see this kind of stuff from time to time, but it seems like it can happen in any country. And apparently, many people were angry at the waitress. The waitress makes me angry. The waitress really makes me angry. I know it's a joke, but still, she makes me angry. Now, this one is a bit cultural, but some people found it funny that the black guy was speaking with a Kansai accent, because in Japan, Kansai accents are associated with comedies. It's the first time I hear a black person speak a Kansai dialect. Super hilarious. So funny. The black person who is speaking the Kansai dialect is funny. And inevitably, some people were a little offended. Are they dissing Japanese people? It might be a funny video, but it makes me a bit disgusted. Too exaggerated. It's rude for Japanese people. There is almost nobody like her. Now obviously, because they are Japanese, they are more sensitive to things that can be perceived as something negative to Japan. And you can find people who are more sensitive and more offended. Isn't this a bit too harsh? Maybe they want to make people think that Japan is a discriminatory country. Why is there this video where an American is lecturing us? Or do they want to give people a stereotype that Japanese people judge other people by their appearances? We were actually the ones who were discriminated against, so I want to say, don't judge us by our appearances to them. Now the thing is, this person is kind of like the waitress because this person still thinks that the guy is American even though he specifically said he was born and raised in Japan. Now, I'm gonna show you some pretty Japanese comments. The waitress is obviously not Japanese, lol. This kind of person doesn't exist, and this person isn't Japanese in the first place. So some people question if the waitress is really Japanese. And of course, many Asian people are more sensitive about differences between different Asian people. There are actually many Japanese people who understand a video and criticize those who don't understand. It's kind of like when a woman says, there are many groping cases in Japan, and a man says, they don't happen, don't lie, or you are disgracing and discriminating against Japanese men. It's hilarious there are many angry Japanese people in the comment section saying, this kind of Japanese person doesn't exist. Don't they know what exaggeration means? Japanese people are taking it too seriously. I'm Japanese too, but this is quite funny as a joke. Of course, it will be troubling if it gave wrong impressions to foreigners who don't know anything about Japan though. Those Japanese comments who don't get it at all are part of the video, lol. This video is joking about the fact that Japanese people have the presumption that Japanese people equal Asian. But I'm surprised that so many Japanese people don't understand that. I do think it's a bit too exaggerated. But it's true that Japanese people tend to judge people by their appearances. Japanese people should be treated as Japanese even if they are black or white if they were born and raised in Japan. And I hope that will be the normal thing for Japanese people. Now, this is an interesting part because some people actually confess that they have acted like the waitress. I did that when I had a part-time job as a ticket taker at the concert. The white guy seemed disheartened, as if saying, "Here he goes again. I feel sorry." Well, the thing is, even though they are speaking Japanese, it sounds as though they were speaking English for Japanese people. It happened to me. Once, there was an American teacher on TV who was explaining something like arts. I understood him perfectly even though there were no subtitles. So I thought maybe I became much better at English without knowing it. But then I realized that the teacher was speaking beautiful and fluent Japanese despite having an English accent. This is interesting, but it's perfectly possible. Sometimes you're not aware of what language people are speaking even though you perfectly understand them. For example, if your parents are Japanese but you grew up in the United States, it's possible that your parents speak Japanese to you but you reply to them in English. And you're not even conscious about what language your parents or you are speaking. And naturally, some people share their own experiences. They are saying it can't happen, but it does happen. I'm half Peruvian and half Japanese, so I look foreign. But I was born and raised in Nagoya, and I speak perfect Nagoya dialect. It perfectly happens to me that when I speak Japanese normally to staff in a shop, they reply in English. It really happens. My American friend experienced this, LOL. Even if they speak Japanese, if they don't look Japanese, maybe people will have trouble understanding their Japanese. And other non-Asian people in Japan say they've never experienced it. What restaurant did they go? I'm a foreigner, and I've lived in Japan for more than 13 years, but it never happens to me at all. Now let me clarify that this person's Japanese isn't as fluent as the people in the video, yet it has never happened to this person. By the way, if you reached my level of Japanese, they don't even question. In fact, if I say that I'm actually a foreigner, they would look confused as though saying, "Don't be silly." So, who's right? Does it really happen or not? Well, the obvious thing is that different people have different experiences. People tend to think Japan is a super homogeneous place that everywhere you go, the same things happen. But that's not true. Japanese people can be pretty different in different places. And it's pretty obvious if you think about it, but there are many different types of Japanese people who think differently. And you can see that clearly from the comments that I just shared. So, if you are interested in living in Japan, you won't know what your experience will be like unless you come here and see it yourself. But there's one thing that is crystal clear. If you want to live in Japan, speaking Japanese will definitely help, and it's better to start sooner than later. So, if you want to learn Japanese with me, I can send you some free Japanese lessons by email, so click the link and subscribe to my email group, Japanese with Yuta. Alright, see you guys soon. Ciao, ciao!